So yesterday was an interesting morning for me because I woke up and I checked my email as I usually do, and inside my inbox was a scoop of sorts. It was a hinting at a scoop. I was contacted by this anonymous person who I've never talked to before, and they actually provided me with some information about Justice League Dark. They said, "Oh, this thing's coming, and we have this information. We want to give it to you." And I thought, I don't know. I don't know if this is real or not. I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'll wait till I wake up. I'll contact some people who I know to see whether or not maybe this is some interesting information. And it just was, went about my business, right? Normal day. I didn't really think much about it. Figured I would get to it later on because I didn't jump on it because I felt after the Rise of Skywalker and all the leaks that have came out of that, and how much of that was just a general fight between fandoms here on YouTube, and how much of it was just BS coming out of certain groups of people. It was one of those things where I'm just like, I don't really know if I want to jump down that rabbit hole just yet, because I criticize the fake information, and I don't want to be a purveyor of that fake information, unless there's like actual like evidence that I can get. So then about 5 p.m. last night, Deadline dropped this article: Justice League Dark Bad Robot developing film and TV projects based on Warner Brothers DC Comics. And I thought to myself, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. No. This is what happens when you want to be like, honest in your reporting, and you want to make sure that you're not just jumping on everything. You want to have some information. So there's that. I thought that was interesting. So Justice League Dark all of a sudden breaks last night, right? Coming in from Deadline. This isn't coming in from like heroicpendejo.com or something. This isn't coming in from Fandom Wire or coming in from We Got This Covered. This is from a legitimate source. And of course, it's interesting when you start finding out more about the project. So this is what they say. They said, exclusive. I hear that Bad Robot, through its new deal at Warner Media, is exclusively developing both film and TV ideas based on DC's Justice League Dark universe at Warner Brothers. The deal is all very nascent, and at this point in time, there aren't any specific projects or characters that are being specifically developed out of the franchise. I understand that Bad Robot's head of motion pictures, Hannah Minghella, and head of television, Ben Stephenson, will soon be taking meetings with talent reps and the writing clients on which characters will get their own projects. And that's interesting because now it becomes this conversation of JJ Abrams helming Justice League Dark, or JJ Abrams producing Justice League Dark. I'm just going to come out and say it. As much as I love JJ Abrams, I don't want him handling Justice League Dark. I just don't. I don't even want Greg Berlanti handling Justice League Dark. I want Guillermo del Toro, who was supposed to do, or Doug Liman, who was supposed to do, handling something like Justice League Dark. And I'm going to tell you why I don't really want JJ Abrams being the person behind the camera. It has everything to do with Star Trek and Star Wars. Now, look, I loved Star Trek and I loved Into Darkness. I loved Force Awakens, and I really liked The Rise of Skywalker. But I feel when it comes to adapting properties that are already well known or already established, and Justice League Dark in certain circles is very much established, let him take a break. JJ doesn't need to adapt everything under the sun. JJ doesn't need to be behind everything going on. But this is clear, this is absolutely clear, that Warner Brothers was desperate to get up to Marvel level, and since Feige is basically bringing everyone from MCU over to Star Wars, because that's going to be the next thing, why not dump $500 million on a 5-year deal for JJ Abrams in order to come in to handle things over at Warner Brothers? And this includes the DC universe. This includes everything they're trying to do with DC, basically saying to Walter Hamada, get the hell out of here. Your services are no longer needed, or you're just going to be here in name only. But really, we're going to be kind of reassigning everything over to JJ Abrams. And I don't really want that. I like Bad Robot. I like the content they put out. TV is definitely something that I think JJ excels in. Lost was a good show. Fringe was great. Person of Interest. Alias was pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of good things that have come out of JJ Abrams in regards to television. Ever seen 11/22/63, the adaptation of the Stephen King book starring James Franco? That was like, I think, 8 episodes or something? It was great. It was compelling. I really, really, really loved it. It was fantastic to watch. Castle Rock is his too. He does a lot of good things with television. Let's stick there. Now, Justice League Dark is probably going to go to TV. And if it's just something he's producing, then that's okay. But I don't want it to be a film. I don't want it to be anything that's not original. I don't want him touching anything that's already established. Just have it be original content, you know, because he did Mission Impossible 3. Then he went to go do Star Trek, and then he went and he did Super 8. And I love, Super 8. And I love Super 8. I thought Super 8 was fantastic. The ending kind of sucked, but other than that, it was a really good movie. And then he did Star Trek Into Darkness, which was kind of iffy. And then, you know, I liked it, but I can get the criticisms. And then Star Wars. And then he's kind of been involved in these big franchises for a long, long, long time. And then he gets brought over to go work with Warner Brothers to develop original content and obviously to kind of kick, I'm assuming, the DCEU straight in the rear to get it back on track and probably focusing more on HBO Max content as a way to catch up to Marvel. This just feels like Warner Brothers spending all this money in order to bring in JJ Abrams because he's a household name. He's a named talent who can produce very audience friendly material and use it as a way in order to, appeal to the masses, so to speak. But the problem with that is something like Justice League Dark is not going to necessarily appeal to the masses, right? Titans, fun show. Swamp Thing, fun show. Doom Patrol, fun show. But those have a very specific audience in mind. It's the more mature adult stuff. And at this point, I haven't necessarily seen JJ tackle that kind of stuff himself. And I just would rather him go and do his own thing, do some original stuff for a while, which he is. He is developing a show he is developing a show called Demimonde, which is a series. This is going to be an HBO epic sci-fi fantasy drama that he's currently meeting with showrunners on. This is what it says. The series follows the world's battle against a monstrous oppressive force, and it's the first series solely created by Abrams since the 2001 ABC drama Alias. That's what I want him to focus on, something that is wholly his, and then tie it into Slusho, and then tie it into Cloverfield, because I want a Cloverfield 2. You son of a bitch. That's what I want. That's not necessarily the most original thing out there, but he has said Cloverfield 2, and that's, god damn it, what I want. But no, I think you out there might agree with me. You might think JJ Abrams is a talented guy. You might not think he's a talented guy, but there's no denying that he's successful in what he does. So wouldn't you want him to focus on more original properties, more original concepts, rather than diving in to another franchise? JJ doesn't need to be that. You know, he doesn't need to be that. And I might get some pushback for this video. People might want him to do it. I don't really want it. I want him to take a breather, a refresher, focus on some original creative ideas, flesh out how to tell the damn ending. Let's just get that out of the way. Let's just bring that in and have that be a key thing. He's admitted he's not the best at endings. Perhaps a writer's course on how to stick the landing could be a good idea, and then go from there. But at the end of the day, I think JJ is a talented guy, and I only wish the best for his career. I mean, granted, not like that matters anything, but still, I would just rather see him focus on original content, or at least, like I said, Cloverfield 2, because that's like my personal fan request. But I'm curious to know what you guys have to think about this one. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think this is going to be a good idea, a bad idea? Are you excited, not excited? I mean, what do you want out of JJ at this point? The guy seems to kind of be all over the place. And do you think it's going to be good for him or bad for him? I am curious to know. Anyway, I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day, and thanks for watching.